Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Millennium TV News. This is Rofi Pramanik with top stories. EU Barnier says clock is ticking, not whistling on Brexit. Trump calls son high-quality person after email release. John McCain pays tribute to 16 killed in military plane crash. China says blaming Beijing for Pyongyang must stop. And Donald Trump's controversial visit to UK likely next year. Those were the headlines, now the details. EU Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier responds to British Foreign Secretary's quip on Tuesday by saying he can hear the clock ticking on Brexit. The European Union chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier said on Wednesday many differences remained with Britain that still needed sorting before talks can start on a trade deal and urged the British government to give details of its plans. Speaking at a news conference in Brussels, Barnier called on the British government to revise its position on citizens' rights and the role the EU court will play after Brexit. Barnier also said he wanted to progress on all three priority Brexit issues before talks could move on to future ties, including a trade deal. President Donald Trump on Tuesday called his eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., a high-quality person and applauded his transparency after his release of an email chain relating to possible Russian involvement in Donald Trump's election campaign last year. President Donald Trump on Tuesday called his eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., a high-quality person and applauded his transparency. My son is a high-quality person and I applaud his transparency, Trump said in a brief statement read to reporters by White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders. After 16 service members were killed in a U.S. military transport plane crash in rural northern Mississippi, Senator John McCain said during a confirmation hearing, "We are all keeping their families in our hearts and prayers." Speaking at a confirmation hearing for U.S. President Donald Trump's nominee for Secretary of the Navy, Senate Armed Services Committee Chair John McCain paid tribute to the Marines who died after a U.S. military transport plane crashed in rural northern Mississippi on Monday evening. "We are all keeping their families in our hearts and prayers," McCain said. 16 service members were killed after a U.S. military transport plane crashed in rural northern Mississippi on Monday evening, the U.S. Marine Corporation said on Tuesday. China hit back on Tuesday in unusually strong terms at repeated calls from the United States to put more pressure on North Korea, urging a halt to what it called the China responsibility theory and saying all parties needed to pull their weight. U.S. President Donald Trump will come to Britain on a state visit next year, according to media reports, quashing expectation that the U.S. leader would make the trip this year. Donald Trump's on-again, off-again state visit to the UK could be back in the diary. Theresa May and Trump talking at the G20 last week. It was rumored then that the U.S. president would make an unannounced trip to the UK after the summit, but a full state visit will now take place next year. That's according to Sky News, quoting senior government sources when May first met Trump in Washington in January. The two leaders held the beginning of their new relationship and the promises of a trade partnership post-Brexit vote. The United States and Qatar signed an agreement on combating terrorism and its financing during a visit to Doha by U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. The United States and Qatar signed an agreement on combating terrorism and its financing during a visit to Doha by U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Tillerson told reporters in Doha on Tuesday that Qatar had reasonable views in the month-old diplomatic row with Arab neighbors and he was hopeful of progress toward a resolution. Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, UAE and Egypt imposed sanctions last month accusing Qatar of financing extremist groups and allying with Iran. The Gulf Arab states urge for something it denies. I'm hopeful we can make some progress to begin to bring this to a point of resolution, Tillerson said alongside his Qatari counterpart Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani. UK Prime Minister reaffirms her path for Britain. British Prime Minister Theresa May says the Conservative Party's path for Britain remains the right one as the marks 1 year of leadership. UK Prime Minister Theresa May signalled on Tuesday that it is business as usual for her government despite an ill-judged election gamble that damaged her authority and saw her lose her majority in Parliament. Emboldening the main opposition Labour Party, speaking a year into her leadership at the launch of the Taylor Review of Modern Working Practices, May challenged her political rivals to contribute, not just criticize her plans, a mob reflecting both her need for help to pass reforms through Parliament and her resolve to press ahead despite questions about her future as leader. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on Wednesday said there will be no negative reaction in international arena due to the procurement of 2 submarines from China as it was a decision of national interest. I believe the procurement of submarines from China is a decision of national interest and there will be no negative reaction in international arena for this, she said. The Prime Minister said this while responding to a stirred questions from Rustam Ali Faraji, Biharaspati in Parliament during Prime Minister's question answer session. She said Bangladesh procured the 2 submarines BNS Nobojatra and BNS Agrojatra, aiming to upgrade Bangladesh Navy to a 3-dimensional force to modernize the country's defense system. This has elevated Bangladesh in the field of national and international politics, she said. 11 migrant laborers died of asphyxiation in Saudi Arabia on Wednesday in a fire that engulfed the windowless house they shared, so the authorities said. Firefighters put out a blaze in old house lacking windows for ventilation. 11 people died of asphyxiation and 6 others were injured in the southern province of Najran, the civil defense said in a tweet. The casualties all hailed from India and Bangladesh, it said. 9 million foreigners work in the kingdom, many of them from South Asia, according to the last official figures released in 2015. Rights groups have called on Saudi Arabia and other Arab states to end the widespread kafala or sponsorship system which severely restricts the rights of migrant laborers. These workers cannot leave the country or switch jobs without written permission from their current employer under kafala, and employers often confiscate their passports and travel documents. Bangladesh Nationalist Parties on Wednesday said a major reshuffle in the Election Commission's field-level administration ahead of the national and major city election is part of a far-reaching civil design to influence the polls. Speaking at a press conference at BNP's Neapolitan Central Office, its Senior Joint Secretary General Ruhul Kabir Rizvi said through a major reshuffle has been made in the EC's field-level administration. The head of the Commission's Committee on Appointment and Transfer and Promotion, Mahbub Talukdar, has no knowledge about it. Viewers, will take a short break. Stay with us. We are back in a moment.
Friends, ডেভেলপমেন্ট।
একটি স্বপ্নের ঠিকানা, একটি সুন্দর আবাসস্থল। ফ্রেন্ডস ডেভেলপমেন্ট আপনার স্বপ্নের বাস্তব রূপ দেয়।
নতুন ডুপ্লেক্স, অ্যাপার্টমেন্ট, কমার্শিয়াল বিল্ডিং নির্মাণের জন্য নির্ভরযোগ্য একটি প্রতিষ্ঠান
ফ্রেন্ডস ডেভেলপমেন্ট।
অত্যাধুনিক ডিজাইন, সর্বশেষ প্রযুক্তির সমন্বয়ে আমাদের কর্মতৎপর কনক্রিট, সিমেন্ট আর ইস্পাতের মজবুত বন্ধনে
গড়ে উঠুক আপনার বাড়ি। রোদ বৃষ্টি সহ সকল বৈরিতার বিরুদ্ধে করি সঠিক ট্রিটমেন্ট।
আপনার শহরের প্রাইম লোকেশনে রয়েছে আমাদের অ্যাপার্টমেন্ট।
আপনার কষ্টার্জিত টাকা এবং আমাদের নির্ভেজাল শ্রমে নির্মিত হোক আপনার স্বপ্নের বাড়িটি। আপনার জীবন হোক সুন্দর এবং আনন্দময়।
আমাদের ঠিকানা ফ্রেন্ডস ডেভেলপমেন্ট, 211 ইস্ট 43 স্ট্রিট, সুইট বি, 507, নিউ ইয়র্ক, NY 10017। ফোন 718-893020।
ইমেল friendsdevelopment@optimum.net। নিশা ট্রেডিং একটি আন্তর্জাতিক মানের গার্মেন্টস প্রোডাক্ট আমদানি ও রপ্তানিকারক প্রতিষ্ঠান। ইউরোপ, এশিয়া ও আমেরিকা সহ বিশ্বের নানা স্থানে বাইং, মার্চেন্টাইজিং এবং ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং করে থাকে। সর্বাধুনিক প্রযুক্তিতে তৈরি বিভিন্ন ডিজাইনের পোশাক বাজারজাতকরণ এবং বিপণন এই প্রতিষ্ঠানের লক্ষ্য। প্রতিষ্ঠানের বৈশিষ্ট্য: উন্নতমান নিশ্চিতকরণ, টেকসই পণ্যের নিশ্চয়তা, নির্ধারিত সময়ে পণ্য সরবরাহ, লেনদেনের স্বচ্ছতা ও বিশ্বস্ততা। যোগাযোগের ঠিকানা: USA কর্পোরেট অফিস, 1747 থার্ড স্ট্রিট সুইট 215, জ্যাকসন হাইট, নিউ ইয়র্ক, NY 11372। বাংলাদেশ কর্পোরেট অফিস, বাড়ি নং 145, সপ্তম তলা, রোড নম্বর 12, ব্লক জি, দক্ষিণ বনশ্রী, খিলগাঁও, ঢাকা 1219।
Viewers, now the news on environment, science and technology. A British company is taking Earth observation imagery to a new level, offering color video from space to any commercial customers. Satellite constellation offers video of anywhere on Earth. A British company is taking Earth observation imagery to a new level, offering color video from space to any commercial customers. The X2 satellite is due for launch later this year. It will be the first of a 5-satellite constellation, offering anyone who wants to pay high-definition color video of anywhere on Earth. One of the biggest icebergs ever recorded has just broken away from Antarctica. The giant block is estimated to cover an area of roughly 6,000 square kilometers. That's about a quarter the size of Wales. An US satellite observed the berg on Wednesday while passing over a region known as the Larsen Sea ice shelf. Scientists were expecting it. They would been following the development of a large crack in Larsen's ice for more than a decade. The rift's propagation had accelerated since 2014, making an imminent calving ever more likely. The more than 200-meter thick tabular berg will not move very fast in the short term, but it will need to be mentored. Currents and winds might eventually push it north of the Antarctic, where it could become a hazard to shipping. New rules are urgently needed to protect life in the open seas. Scientists have warned. A report on United Nations Ocean Conference in New York points out that more than 60% of the ocean has no conservation rules as it's outside national jurisdictions. It says the ocean is at risk from climate change, overfishing, deep-sea mining, farm population and plastics. The authors say one area, the Bay of Bengal, is at a tipping point which could impact on global fish stocks. The report was commissioned to inform delegates preparing United Nations resolution on governments of the open seas. Viewers, now the news on business. Japanese toy and game software company Bandai Namco Incorporation opened Japan's largest virtual reality entertainment facility to the media, 3,500 square meters of gaming. This is Japan's largest virtual reality facility. The game software company Bandai Namco is behind the virtual reality zone in the heart of the Tokyo's shopping districts. It boasts 15 different types of game including Mario Kart, fishing and cycling through the sky on a voiced bicycle. Asian shares steady after Wall Street managed to weather a fresh twist in the political controversy surrounding US President Donald Trump's administration, while investors look ahead to Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen's comments. Asian shares stabilizing on Wednesday as markets managed to brush off a new twist in the political controversy surrounding the Trump campaign's alleged links with Russia. Asia Pacific shares ticked up 0.1%, while Japan's Nikkei slid 0.3%. Analysts say investors are holding their breath ahead of Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen's comments later in the day. There seemed to be little reaction to a story from Politico that Trump is unlikely to nominate Yellen next year for a second term. U.S. stocks took a brief tumble on Tuesday after an email chain released by Donald Trump's son suggested he welcomed Russian support for his father's election. Now the news on entertainment. Pop singer Madonna has opened a children's hospital in Malawi built by her charity. Madonna was hailed as a symbol of mother spirit by Malawi President Peter Mutharika after the American singer opened a children's hospital named after her adopted daughter Mercy James. The Mercy James Institute for Pediatric Surgery and Intensive Care located in Blantyre, Malawi's second largest city, is the first such facility built in the country by Madonna's charity. Raising Malawi will ensure that not only will it be a world-class children's hospital but also a superior center of learning. This is as much about healing as it is about empowerment. Marana said at the hospital's official opening, the singer adopted Malawian children David Banda and Mercy James in 2006 and 2009 respectively, and twins Esther and Stella Marvel earlier this year. Clint Eastwood's new film about three Americans who stopped a terror attack on a train to Paris will star the real-life heroes of the 2015 incidents. Anthony Sadler, Alec Scarlett and Spencer Stone will play themselves in the 1517 to Paris, based on the book they co-wrote with Jeffrey Stern. Actors will play a younger version of the trio in the film, which is thought to focus on the three men's friendship. The men are awarded Legion d'Honneur medals for their actions. They also received a Hero Award from Eastwood himself at an award ceremony last year. Sadler, Scarlett and Stone were among a number of passengers who overpowered a heavily armed man who had opened fire on the train. Viewers, now the news on sports. Natalie Seaver's brilliant century helped England reach the semi-finals of the Women's World Cup courtesy of a 75-run win over New Zealand. Seaver hit 129 of only 111 balls, adding 170 with Tammy Beaumont, who made 93 in England's 284 9 at Derby. Alex Hartley took 344 and Annie Strobsole 2 by 19 as New Zealand were bowled out for 209 with 20 balls left. Australia and South Africa, both of whom on Wednesday, also qualified for the last semi-final place will be decided by India's game against New Zealand at Derby on Saturday, when England faced West Indies at Bristol. Victory was England's fifth in succession following defeat by India in their opening game. Bangladesh's Tamim Iqbal rejected rumors Wednesday that he quit English country cricket club Essex because of a hate crime targeting his family, and said it was down to personal reasons. The 28-year-old opening batsman cut ties with Essex after just one match, but dismissed suggestions his sudden departure was because of an alleged attack against his wife and son. Some media reported that we were the target of attempted hate crime. This is really not true, the Bangladesh vice-captain posted on his Facebook page. England is one of my favorite places to play cricket, and Essex have been entirely gracious even though I had to leave early. However, an official from the Bangladesh Cricket Board said the decision followed an incident in London where Tamim, his wife Aisha Siddiqa and one-year-old son were harassed while out for dinner. We suspect they were chased because Tamim's wife wears a hijab. Hopefully, we'll know the details once he returns from England today, said the cricket officials, speaking on condition of anonymity. Manchester City have missed out on one of their summer transfer targets after Brazil fullback Dani Alves joined Paris Saint-Germain on a free transfer. Alves, who has signed a 2-year deal, has opted against joining up with his former Barcelona coach Pep Guardiola. City were prepared to give the 34-year-old a 2-year contract, but would not match the €230,000 a week it is understood they will receive in France. Tottenham's Kyle Walker remains City's top target at right back, as City have so far failed to agree a fee with Spurs for England defender Walker. They are currently without a recognized right back following the summer departures of out-of-contract duo Pablo Zabaleta and Bakary Sagna. The club are understood to be relaxed about the situation despite the fact they will leave for 3-match tour of the United States featuring matches against Manchester United, Real Madrid and Tottenham on Monday. Viewers, let's have a look Millennium TV News recap. EU Barnier says clock is ticking, not whistling on Brexit. Trump calls son high-quality person after email release. John McCain pays tribute to 16 killed in military plane crash. China says blaming Beijing for Pyongyang must stop. And Donald Trump's controversial visit to UK likely next year. Viewers, to get any kinds of news, log in our social media facebook.com/MillenniumTVUSA and youtube.com/MillenniumTVUSA. You are up to date with our top stories so far here on Millennium TV, and don't forget to log in our website www.millenniumtv.net. Thank you and stay with Millennium TV. Allah Hafiz.